What's up, everybody? Welcome to another show, early show today, a little matinee. You dig what I'm saying? NBA talk with Jay Money and the Shark, my guys. NBA payday, all this talk about NBA payday. Oh boy, we had a lovely day yesterday. If it weren't for the Knicks, it would have been an undefeated day, guys. Let's keep it going today. Can't get too high, can't get too low. Let's ride the momentum into today. We did cash yesterday, but yesterday's history. It's on to today, my guy Shark. I love the hat, lovely hat. I must say. What are we doing today, my guy? Everything good with you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, this is the unofficial first day of spring. We always talk about this. This is a basketball channel, but we love sports. Yankee baseball starts for me. I see you, New York City. Stand the hell up. It's been a tumultuous 12 months. It's been 12 months of pain, struggle, self-questioning, and really trying to determine what's going on. But we're here for you. This is Jay Money's Money. It is Sharks and Sports, otherwise known as Sharky Waters Nation. 9 words of lifestyle. Right away, we get out of the water. Thirsty Thursday. Engaged. Jay Money, where do you want to begin here?
Ride the wave or get out of the water. Big Balls in the chat. What's up, my guy? Simba, Chris Martinez, everybody. Yeah, so baseball starting. We'll likely start doing a little dibbling, dabbling with some baseball here too, Shark. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, NBA is top, is key. But you know what I'm saying? This is sports talk with Jay Money and the Shark. So we're gonna be doing possibly some little baseball on here. When NFL starts, guys, we will be doing the NFL probably at least 3 shows a week, guys. So we will be crushing. We got my NFL expert over here, my guy, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be dibbling and dabbling too. But today, that's what you guys are here for. Obviously, I got to do an SBR show today too, man. So I'm still doing it, man, until them boys show me the door. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing it. But let's get to it, man. First game of the day, top game of the day. We always go to the game that matters to us the most. The first, you see what I'm saying? We got the Hawks here versus the Spurs. Line opened up at Spurs -1.5. Now we got the Hawks sitting to -1. To be honest with you, I do think it's very telling here. The Hawks are coming out. I mean, so we just saw the Spurs here. They opened up at -2.5 versus the Kings, a red hot Kings team. They were 6-1. I think came in off 4 or 5 straight wins, and they had the Spurs lined at 2.5. They lost the first game, got ran out of the gym. They get some revenge yesterday. I don't like the fact that the Spurs have been at the house forever. I mean, could possibly be a little fat and happy here, but I actually like the Hawks here. They have been on the road forever. We had the Spurs. They've been at the house for 5-6 games. Hawks is this 6th game on their 7-game or 8-game road trip. But still, I actually like the Hawks to come in more focused here. I know they probably won't have John Collins tonight, but the Hawks team, they are a deep squad. They've been taking some losses against the Western Conference. They have to start piling up some wins here. I think they get a win here tonight. Shark, what we liking to it today, my guy?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And of course, we were talking about it last night, and we were looking at what the Hawks have done on this trip. And they got their quality check. They played 3 contenders, 3 West contenders, 3 teams that will be deep in the playoffs. That's not representative of San Antonio Spurs here. And when you look at what the Spurs are doing, they're on their 3rd and 4, back-to-back, off 2 games against the Kings, 2 highly competitive games, and a big revenge matchup last night. And you get the revenge factor for Atlanta as well. Atlanta got beat by 11 points in their home stadium by the same Spurs squad about a month and a half ago. And, of course, we look at secondary matchups as cross-referencing points. When Charlotte lost at home to the Spurs, and again, Charlotte is very similar to the Hawks. Young team, right around 500. Books have them similarly weighted. When Charlotte lost at home to the Spurs, they did go in there. And you had put this on record, as did I. We didn't sanction it officially, that Charlotte would go in there and win. They did 197. And I think ultimately you're going to find all boxes really colliding here tonight for this environment for the Hawks. And, ultimately the last couple of games are not reflective of traveling to a new division now. This is the Southwest Division. This is not the Pacific or the Northwest, which are deeper and really at the high point, showing more class.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I like the way that the Hawks match up here. I mean, so like you say, all box check. Obviously, we were talking about this one last night. I think this is so. Look, we had the Hawks favored by 2.5 at the house over the Spurs. Obviously, the Spurs won that game by 11. The Spurs do seem to play a lot better on the road, to be honest with you. And that's basically what you're saying here. So in this revenge spot, we're the exact same thing with the Hornets. The Spurs beat the Hornets over there in Charlotte, I believe. And then when they come to the house, and that's when they kind of sort of let the teams get their revenge. So it's like they've been a better team on the road. We know the Spurs are kind of like some road warriors to start the season off. Like the Hawks here, I believe the line is moving our way. So obviously, so the right money, the right type of players are playing the Hawks. Apparently moving that line the right way, guys. Lines don't just move. It has to take some money. It has to take some very strong accounts to make those lines move. So we have it moved from 1.5 for the Spurs to Hawks -1. I think it's very telling here. I do think they win the game. Hawks -1 It's the play. It's my play today. It's my guy Shark top play. When we align, it usually works out pretty well. Must say the only thing boding against us here is that the Hawks have been on the road for so long, and the Spurs have been at the house, so they have that in theory that advantage, but. They still played the game yesterday, and the Hawks are on the rest advantage, and they're coming off a game where they pissed it away. John Collins went down, but yeah, they came all the way, played a very good representative game versus the Suns, a much better defensive team than the Spurs, I might add, a much hotter team. I mean, and so we have them coming in here. They were down 1 with 48 seconds to go, end up losing that game by 7. Obviously, I was on the Hawks +6, lost the cover there. I do think that the Hawks get the win here over a struggling Spurs team who possibly they may not even make the playoffs, Short.
One other point here. When you're on an elongated road trip, right? This is not like a 4-gamer. You've been out there for a long time. It's like if you took, this is a ridiculous out of context remark, but if you took like a Euro trip for a month and a half, right? You're going to catch a second wind at some point, and you're going to get more comfortable being on the road. And I feel like Atlanta's been on the road for long enough where this is not like they're coming in and out of their home stadium. They've just they're flowing through a trip. And I think ultimately they're going to catch a second wind here. And again, against a different division and not really the absolute elite teams. I really think emotionally, it's not so much they're going to be strung out on the road. I think they're actually going to be kind of rejuvenated here.
Exactly. I can see it too as well. Like I say, guys, they've been losing a little too many games here. The Hawks can't take all of these losses. We can't forget they were super hot when Nate McMillan first, took over. Obviously, they cooled down. I mean, that's going to happen when you go on that West Coast road trip. They do get somewhat of an easier path here today versus Spurs. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but yes, 3rd game in 4 nights with for the Spurs. I know there's no travel, but guys, they just played the Kings, a really up and down type of team. They really had to run up and down. I could see Lonnie Walker possibly comes back in this game. Just to be honest with you, I could possibly see one of these older Spurs possibly sit down, maybe like a DeRozan. We're capping this game with full squad for the Spurs. I like the Hawks to win this game, but don't be a bit surprised to see the Spurs maybe rest a guy or two in this one. But regardless, like the Hawks here, -1 top for me, my guy. What's up?
And also top for your man, the Shark. We are aligning. We are assembling. It is Thirsty Thursday. It is going down. And ultimately, one final point here. You always like to look at, like I cross-referenced the Charlotte matchups for the Spurs home to away. One matchup that I really liked here for the Hawks, they lost and didn't cover at home against Dallas. And then they went to Dallas and covered. And it was a very similar environment. I think that's the last point in this game. As you guys are noticing quickly, there are a lot of boxes to look at for every game. And when they start to check all of the boxes, that's where you get your top play. Atlanta at a pick'em an hour ago for me, maybe -1 now. I wouldn't sweat that. And that is the top sanctioned play. Should we move forward to the West Coast?
Onward, my guy. Onward. Yeah, Hawks -1 for me. Obviously, like I say, pick -1. If we'd like them to win the game, it's essentially around the same thing, my guy. But yeah, let's go. We got Nuggets here versus the Clippers, guys. This line was at -1 for the Clippers. This is almost the exact same carbon copy of the other game. So Nuggets here are 1.5 favorites. Now, I believe it's went up to 2 at a lot of spots. What's up, my guy? Knows a guy. It's my guy right there. Appreciate you. All the positive vibes every single day, my guy. That's my guy right there in Toronto. Nuggets here -1.5, my guy. Obviously they got Gordon over there, they got Gary Clark, and what's got JaVale McGee. I know he hasn't been playing, but this is a pretty stacked team over here. Nuggets, they got some new players, didn't really seem to mess with their chemistry. They're hot right now, won 3 straight games. They do kind of have, this is a big game versus the Clippers here. Now I can't say that this is a tough game for me because it is a lot of moving parts, and I can make cases for both sides. But Shark, let's go ahead and break them down. What you like in here? You like this game more than I do, my guy.
Yeah, well, I had to flip the buy hat to the fade hat. This is your top fade of the day per the hat section. And when we really look at what's going on here, the first thing here, I looked at the number, and the number is very important. Early season, the Clippers beat Denver on the road by 13 points as a 3.5-point road favorite. And we say this every night when they come home. And this is adjusted for the expected roster of the game. We always say this. The books know things. Trust me, guys. They're moving this for a reason. When you beat a team by 13 on the road at 3.5, you should be laying 6.5, 7 at home. It's going the polar opposite direction for good reason. Denver loves to revenge teams on the road. 3 corollaries that we were just discussing. They lost to Milwaukee insultingly, actually, in Denver. And then they went on the road. They got pissed off, and they jacked up Milwaukee on the road. They did this a couple other times. It's failing me now, but if you guys go through the schedule yourself, it's actually a little bit of a tutorial for you guys. Look at the Denver schedule and check how many games they lost at home and went on the road and revenged them. Even most recently, New Orleans, home loss, went to New Orleans, won and covered. And this is what they do. Of course, that could be COVID sanctioned. Obviously, no home crowds, so they play a little bit more flat in their home stadium, and then they go on the road, and the other team does not have their home advantage. We don't know exactly why it is, but these trends exist for a reason. It's just the dynamics of human behavior. People do the same thing usually. Think about it. You do the same thing this Tuesday that you did next Tuesday. It's just how people live. NBA players are also creatures of habit in specific environments.
Got you. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. I hear what you're saying. I'm looking at the chat. My guy talking about on some wedding cake. D Nice was happy. He's happy that he was on the Timberwolves yesterday. So nice call. Nice call with you on that one, my guy. But yeah, in this one, I must say it's a lot of moving parts here, guys. Obviously, the Clippers won't have Pat Beverly or they won't have Paul George in this game. And I must say they will hurt full squad here. I possibly would have been looking towards the Clippers here. Now, see, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Now, if the Clippers come off this game on a 7-game win streak, and now the Nuggets come off a 3-game win streak. Obviously, they're hot right now. I'm not gonna say hot as fish grease, but they won 4 out of last 5 because actually the Clippers were that super hot team. They were winning all the games. Just think about it. They went and beat the Bucks. So obviously Paul George went out, and you still go and beat the Bucks by 24. It just speaks volumes to how the Clippers are trying to play, get ready for the playoffs now. So they had a very terrible game in the last game. Is this literally the single reason why I'm not betting this one? It's just because they come off a terrible effort. You're favored by 11 points versus the Magic. You're supposed to win that game easily. It was a back-to-back spot. It was just an absolute no-show from obviously they came out, got up 10-0, smacked them up in the first quarter, and just absolutely fell asleep. When I looked back at that game and saw that they were down, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. So obviously Clippers not at full strength. It obviously not having Paul George obviously came back to haunt them. But in this particular game, guys, I'll just tell you straight up, the Clippers, it just scared me here because they will always be pissed at the Nuggets for how they did them last year in the bubble. They did come and get some revenge first game of the season. I was all over the Clippers. This is a different Nuggets team. I do like the Nuggets more when they're coming in maybe off a loss and when they're super motivated. They are playing really high today. So to be honest, I couldn't talk anybody out of Nuggets. I just know that the Clippers are going to be really pissed from their last game. They are at the house. I know no Paul George, but if they could beat the Bucks without 24, maybe they could stay competitive again. True toss, in my opinion. I don't want to talk anybody out of Nuggets. I hope you cash, Shark, with it. I'll be staying off this one, my guy.
One comment on that, and I think I'm obviously sitting here. It's before noon. I'm outside. My pensive psychological self is coming to the forefront. But just as much as we were just talking about the dynamic of the Atlanta trip, getting settled on the road as opposed to being more drained, I think if you actually look at what happened against Orlando, in a 72-game NBA schedule, they're going to tank games, right? But I think if you really look at why teams get pissed, they don't really get pissed, in my opinion, when they just completely have a throw-out game to a team they never play and they'll never see again, right? They play Orlando twice a year. It was a one-off, off a big win. Nobody played. They let down 3rd and 4, back-to-back, tank. They forgot that. Like, that didn't even exist in their mind. If they had just gotten blown out by the Lakers at a full squad, they would be pissed. They would be insulted. Their rival beat them down. And trust me, I played sports in college, D1. I know this. We would lay down to bullshit teams, and it didn't matter. It didn't jack us up. It didn't jack us up. But when we lost to our rival, that would piss us off. So I don't think that the bounce back emotional anger factor off of just a throwout game to Orlando is as strong of a narrative than it would be if they had just lost to, say, the Lakers again in like a real like national game by like 1 point at the buzzer or something like that.
Gotcha. Just real quick, what did you play, D1? I want to know.
Lacrosse.
Okay, I got you. Big dog. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
24, 6, 40. Let's train, baby. Let's go.
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure you're pretty nice, man. I'm a basketball, football guy myself, man. But yeah, in this particular game, yeah, it's a tough one for me, to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that everybody's on the Nuggets. I never really. I know it's a strong spot. I know it is. I don't like the fact everybody thinks the Nuggets is gonna be easier. Hope you cash, bro. I'm staying away from it. I like I say, lean Nuggets here, but I'm staying away. I don't like the feeling of it. Hawks -1 top play. Let's talk about a few other ones real quick. Maybe just going here for about 5 more minutes. I do want to talk about this Warriors versus Heat spot real quick, bro, because I really think this is a bad spot for the Heat. I know they're starting to play a whole lot better, and bro, I rolled with you yesterday. I needed the Heat. Like, they got down 15. So look, they got down 15 or got down 14 points. So they come all the way back. I'm like, okay, this is the Heat going to 13-1 run. Let's close out the half. Say the Heat finna come out here and smack these boys the second half. What do they do? Third quarter. You let the Pacers start off a 13-0 run. You cannot do that, and got down by 15 again. So the Heat, they come back. You see what I'm saying? They come and win the game. I love that. I like that. I need to cash. But I think this is a bad spot, guys. So the Warriors, obviously, they got Steph back. They've had a couple of days for rest now. So they have 2-day rest advantage over the Heat. This is 5 games in 8 days for the Heat. It's travel. You just play 3 road games. First, you're coming back to that. So you got the first game back at the house off a little 3-game road trip. You have a back-to-back spot for them. Coming back home, 5th game in 8 days. You have Oladipo coming in there, a new player coming in, maybe throwing the lineups off. I think this is a bad spot for the Heat. I'm not laying the 2.5. I had to play something here. It would be Warriors plus 2.5. I'm actually this close, guys. If I make another play today, the next strongest spot after Hawks for me is Warriors plus 2.5. They have the rest advantage. They are going from west to east. You have that dynamic, which I don't usually like, but you have the couple of days rest advantage. I think it'll bode well, huge for them here if they get the running and gunning. The Warriors can play some defense as well when they got Draymond out there. Wiseman got Curry back, shot in the arm. I think it's time. I think it's go time for him. Scary is that the Heat are going to obviously cluster in wins, but it's a terrible spot for him here, Shark. How if you had a free play on this one, how would you be playing this one, my guy?
Well, we were talking about this before. The line for me is really sharp. I think it was Pick'em in Golden State. Of course, Golden State did win that game by 8 points. A fairly high-scoring affair, I believe 120 to 112. I think a decent look could be the under here, actually, coming back. Miami has really turned up the defense. And not only have they turned up the defense, they just are really inconsistent on the offensive end. Like, their droughts are just awful. Like you said last night, they come out in the second half. I think it was an 11-0 run to start the half for the Pacers.
13-0 run, bro.
All the momentum to close the half. I was like, what is going on here? And again, it's just their inconsistency. It wasn't necessarily their energy. They just couldn't shoot, and they gave up a couple buckets. Boom, there's your 13-0 run. And, when you really look at this, of course, pick at home -2.5 on the road, -2.5 coming back home is exactly razor sharp. -2.5, you're flipping a coin on the number. I think fading the Heat coming home, though, off of, I believe, a 3rd and 4, check me, at least a back-to-back.
Yep.
Definitely a fatigue spot. And the point about Oladipo is incredibly sharp. We saw this with the Bulls when they acquired their new players. They tanked a few games. The Celtics have been terrible since acquiring their new players. It's growing pains. It's not just one game. It's not 2 games. I said it about the LeBron, Chris Bosh trio with Dwayne Wade. It took them 20 games. They were 10-10. People were saying, is this even going to work? And of course, they won 2 titles. It takes time to integrate. And Oladipo has proved to be an enigmatic player. I mean, number 2 overall pick, not worthy of that. And he's gotten moved around. And when you get moved around as a number 2 overall pick, it's for good reason. You are enigmatic. Your skill set is all over the place. He's undersized for his position. I think it's going to take some time for him to really integrate. And I think based on that point alone, it's a good take on the Dubs here tonight.
Exactly. Yeah, I know they're on a roll here, but I mean the Warriors, what they had just took 4 straight losses. I think that's another team. So both of these teams went through losing streaks or whatever. They're going to cluster some wins. Obviously, the Warriors fighting for playoff position, in my opinion, a tad bit more motivated here. What he had, in my opinion, the way this is almost like the Suns come here say it's just a terrible spot for the Heat, where you look at the other team. I mean, you look deeper in this game, and with this rest advantage, this large of a rest advantage, it's either you look at Warriors or nothing at all. As this game goes on, I can see the Heat really running out of gas. You have a 3rd and 4 back to back coming to the house with travel, all of this. And one last point on this game, what do we we see when we saw new players come to the team, they're sitting out other players to let them get integrated. Just keep an eye out for maybe, you know what I'm saying? And so obviously if an older player, the injury-prone player like Dragic, 34, and it's a terrible spot, if they sit him tonight, we know the Heat are a different team without him. I could see them sitting one of these guards. They have to. They got like 6 guards or wing players. You got to sit somebody to let Oladipo get some minutes. Just how it works, guys. So heavy lean to Warriors for me. Let's go through some other games, Shark, before we get out of here. Anything else you like, my guy?
Yeah, let's go to New Orleans. New Orleans is a very interesting spot here. I don't really like the necessary continued buy on Orlando, but I do like the continued buy on Orlando a lot more than taking New Orleans laying 9 points in an extreme letdown spot off a sequence of road wins. This is just a black hole game, just like it was a black hole game for the Clippers last time out against the Magic. Uninspiring, young guys, second unit driven. I said it the other day when we didn't go live. Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, Mo Bamba. I mean, these are D1 guys that really are passionate about playing. They're playing for contracts, and you just have to ask yourself the question. The last time New Orleans played a scrappy bullshit team at home, they actually did blow out the Cleveland Cavaliers 116-92. However, that was a different environment. They were coming off of a sequence of losses coming into that game. So they had to show up against Cleveland. This is the polar opposite. They're coming off of a sequence of impressive wins and a 4-game and out as a dog against the Boston Celtics. I'm not officially playing Orlando. I may sprinkle a little bit, but I do think there's going to be a sustained gap and window here where Orlando just gets a bad effort from the other team. And buying Orlando in these spots is not necessarily buying Orlando. It's buying the idea that you're going to get the worst version of the opponent.
Exactly. No, you excellent points there, my guy. Obviously, we know that Orlando just traded their 3 best players over there with Vucevic. They traded Fournier as well. Yeah, Vucevic, Fournier, and Gordon as well. So, I mean, they were trying to trade Ross. Yeah. Things could have got even worse, to be honest with you. So, they were trying to trade Ross. He's still over there. He was all on Instagram and stuff like, you know what I'm saying, tears, stuff like that. I'm the only one left over here. But to be honest with you, I mean, they got Otto Porter. They got Wendell Carter Jr. They got some players back. They got, you know what I'm saying, like you say, still Mo Bamba, MCW. They got not big name players, but these are, like I said, guys, these are still NBA players. I actually said it in the last game versus the Clippers. I said, you can't disrespect these guys. Still NBA players. They're still going to come to play. And what do you see? They go out, I didn't know they're going to beat them straight up, but I mean, I said, nobody's looking to play the Magic, guys. And what do you see? They go out there and stunt. And I'm talking about people are laying at 11 with the Clippers like they had read yesterday's newspaper already, in all honesty. So I'm with you on that. And guys asking about Zion, I highly doubt he plays. I saw something about his thumb or something. He's sprained it, probably dunking too hard. The fact that he's questionable, I highly doubt that Zion plays here, guys. So especially versus an uninspiring opponent, you have a game tomorrow, a revenge spot versus the Hawks. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, the Hawks better not rest nobody either. First game of a back-to-back as well for them. So, but yeah, I could see them taking it light. It's Orlando or nothing for me, my guy. Few more games, bro. Anything with Washington Pistons? What was we liking on that one, my guy?
A couple leans. Again, nothing official, but I was thinking the over. Washington obviously is inconsistent shooting the basketball like a lot of these teams are, but they do pace universally at all times. And the previous matchup was 198 final on the total at 224. This comes in at the same number, 224. So the books are telling you that was a filthy outlier. That went under by 26 points, and we're putting the line back out at the same average. This is going to come up. I do think 224 could be sharp. I was looking at some of the road outcomes at Boston, a couple other ones at Knicks. I think they just couldn't score. But I do think back end of a back-to-back for Detroit, less defense, and this should come up, really. And the second point on that, Washington first half, I think, has some merit. They did tank the game to Charlotte, which we had correctly. And, of course, you get Detroit here on the back-to-back. And we talk about this all the time. A lot of time there's reversal. They came out blazing hot last night against Portland and faded. And now you have to ask yourself a question. Are they going to come out blazing hot again? I would think they'd probably come out flat and then maybe show a little more life in the second half.
Got you, got you. Yeah, and I was leaning Wizards with that one here. They coming off a loss with Bradley Beal not playing these past couple games. I'm starting to wonder, or do the Wizards even want to make the playoffs? In all honesty, though, so this is a tough game for me. They got a 4-game edge on the Pistons. I do think, me personally, I do think one of these teams will tank it away. It's usually the team that's coming off the win, in my opinion. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see, just real quick. If I'm not mistaken, the Pistons are coming off a win. No, they're not. Both teams coming off a loss. They just lost. They just got their ass smacked versus the Blazers yesterday. So both teams coming off a loss. I don't like playing games like this. I do think Wizards have the edge. In theory, you got a revenge spot for the Pistons here, but Pistons got some still some players over there, but it's Wizards or nothing for me. That's the only way I'm looking. No, I'm not a god at this betting. I'm not. I lose too, guys. We won yesterday, but no, I'm not a god at betting. I wish I was. I'd be a millionaire. I'm not. Just to let you know. But real quick, Sixers versus Cavs. Real quick, bro. Do you think that that's an easy? Not gonna say easy, but do you think it's Smack City spot?
Let me just make one final point on that Washington game. That line is razor sharp. That game in Washington was -5.5, 6. This is 3. This is the same thing we said about the Dubs game. 3 points of movement is exactly where the books want it. It's razor sharp, but that's where you go second layer and you look at the dynamic. The over total is showing more transparency, and the first half would just be a narrative point, fading Detroit off a great first half last night, with Washington coming in here off of a really poor 4-quarter effort against Charlotte. But yeah, let's go to Philly. I didn't have anything there. The one thing I don't like about that game is both teams just got shelled in the last game. So both teams theoretically should come up. Cleveland's kind of scrappy. Philly's inconsistent. I don't think Embiid's playing. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just a tough one for me on that one.
Yeah, it's crazy because I actually saw that Embiid was questionable somewhere. I highly doubt that he plays. He probably wait till they come back to the house. Sixers coming off a couple losses. Cavs just got smacked by damn near 40, obviously, versus the Jazz. If you look at the lineups that they're putting out there, you shouldn't be surprised that they're getting smacked. Jared Allen's not playing. Who else? So Jared Allen's not playing. Larry Nance Jr. is not playing. You could argue there's two best players. Well, two of them. You still got Sexton and Garland out here, but we know that Simmons and the guards for the 76ers could totally neutralize them. Kind of missed this one, guys. You like 76ers. They was at 7.5 last night. It's up to 9.5, 10 now. I'm not saying they won't cover it, but if you like the Sixers, guys, it was at 7.5 last night. Like, you got to beat these line moves if you like it, especially on a favorite like that, going against the Cavs. You have to get on that. When we dropping merch, as soon as possible, my guy, as soon as possible. But yeah, that's it for the card, man. It's only one other game we didn't talk about, Hornets versus Nets. I guess that you want to say a few words just so we can say we did every game. It's just really crazy to me that the Hornets opened up at -1. Super crazy. Obviously, Harden will likely be out for this game. Now it's Nets -3. What are we looking at in this one?
This is real tough because if Harden's out, Kyrie out, KD out, this is just, we don't know how this roster functions at all. The KD pre-Harden Kyrie group did actually lose in Charlotte early season, 106-104, and Brooklyn was laying 11 points in that game. So as a cross-referencing point here, if Charlotte opens at -1 off a +11, that's a 12-point gap. That reminds me, just in recent history, of the line we saw Dallas lay at Oklahoma City -11. That was a huge gap from the previous one to this one. You know, most of these moves, we always say 3 is stock. 4, 5, more transparency. 1, 2, a little more transparency. 11 or 12, that's like a college basketball gap. And I think that they're really telling you the waiting for Charlotte here is just the Nets roster being extremely flat here. Of course, fading the revenge game is, and of course, you do have the element of Charlotte coming in here and not playing. We call it Sirac on ice for a reason, because with no names on the jersey to motivate, a lot of these teams will not bring their A game. But I think the standout point here is definitely 12 points of movement from average 1 to average 2 is college style. And in those games, just like you saw the Mavericks blow them out the other night, usually it moves drastically in that direction.
Got you. To be honest with you, it spoke a lot of volumes to the fact that the Hornets opened up -1 here. Obviously, Harden is questionable. He's officially questionable. He didn't return to last night's game. Kyrie is not on the injury report, so just for what it's worth. Kyrie should be in there. Blake Griffin's doubtful. So Shamet questionable, Blake Griffin doubtful, Malik Monk probable, and James Harden questionable. possibly might not play here. I would be leaning towards Harden maybe not playing. I must say though, with the bookmakers having Hornets -1 this morning speaks volume. So I mean, the way the Hornets been playing right now, they actually been playing with their heads on fire, actually a little bit better than the Nets, to be honest with you. So I know this Nets are this, you know what I'm saying, like the cream of the crop of the East, but the Hornets, like, it's tough to take them lightly right now. No bet on me for their game. It's just the Hawks for me right now. Sorry to go a little longer on here, Shark, but you know how it is. Sometimes it gets extended, my guy. But yeah, I like the Hawks here, my guy. Yeah. Lean the Nuggets with you as well. What you like it?
And one final point on that Charlotte game. You know, Brooklyn was really hot for a long period of time, kind of like the Jazz were, and so theoretically they can continue to tank these games. And you've seen it recently, just as recent as last night, actually, just how uninspired they can play because they know they can turn it up when they need to, theoretically. So I think you're just seeing kind of where the Nets are right now. They're in a bit of an uninspiring stretch of their calendar. They're waiting for their big guns to come back. And I don't think you get a big effort here from Brooklyn tonight.
Got you. Yeah, I can see it, especially. I mean, so they came out and played a terrible game versus the Rockets yesterday. Were losing their game the whole way, and then the Nets come out there and smack them up in the fourth quarter. But Shark, break them off with your official plays before we get out of here, my guy.
Atlanta Hawks traveling, finding comfortability on the road, as I suggested, at San Antonio. Pick them -1 now. And, of course, the fade hat is engaged. You're looking at it right now. Denver -1.5 at Staples. Later, road revenge game. I believe on national TV. J Money is money. Shark Waters Nation. Close them out, my man.
Let's go, man. I appreciate you for coming on with me. Doing an early show today, guys. I'm finna be moving. Me and my lady, we're trying to close on this house, man. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. You know what I'm saying? But I got later today, man. We're trying to close on this house, doing all type of stuff, man. So no more apartment life. So the lady calling the neighbor, the laws on some more shit's not happening no more, guys. About a month and a half, man. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Yeah, Hawks, man. -1. You need top. I know, and it seems like I know nobody's gonna like it, to be honest with you. I know the Hawks burned us last time. I do think they win this game, guys. I do. It's gonna be a terrible spot for them tomorrow. Last game, I think 8-game road trip back to back in New Orleans. So maybe we get the Hawks today and Pelicans tomorrow. That's the way I'm seeing it, guys. Hawks, they have to come out here and try and get this win. You can't be clustering losses over there in the tough East race. Give me the Hawks to put it all out there on the floor. The Spurs, they're coming off of a revenge spot where they had to put it all out there on the floor. I think we could possibly see a late injury here. Give me the Hawks. I think somebody knows something, to be honest with you. Hawks moving to -1. Give me the Hawks. Top Hawks -1. I lean the Nuggets there with my guy. Lean Nuggets. I lean the Warriors. I think the Heat, in my opinion, are in a terrible scheduling spot. Warriors got a couple days rest advantage on them. Lean Wizards. I definitely want to be getting involved with that one, though. So it's Hawks time for me. If it was 1 second from Hawks, it would be Warriors, then possibly Nuggets, lean Magic. But yeah, Hawks for me, guys. Let's cash it. Y'all know how it is. Let's cash this. Top players go 1-0. Appreciate everybody. Let's go 2-0. So Nuggets and Hawks, man. But only Hawks is official for me, guys. Hawks -1. Let's go, man. The Spurs ain't the same team, my God. Let's smack these bums up, my guys. Hawks, put your red on, your red and black. You see what I'm saying? All that. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. That's my guy, Shark. I'm J Money. Go and follow us on Twitter. We finna get out of here. I'm still doing the SBR show, guys. I'll still be there. Just had to do a little early today because I got some stuff I got to do. Just had to find some time for me and my guy, the Shark. We finna get out, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button. Like. Subscribe. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we out. Be back tomorrow.